Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. Really glad that you're with me today and joining me in the studio. We've got two wonderful people. Milan Yerkovich is there.
Hey, Steve.
And
good to see you.
Also, Steve Poe is back. Can you hear over your headphones? I can't. Mine. But anyway, we'll fix that. Milan, good to see you, and Steve. And
Thank
Steve,
you.
welcome back.
Thank you.
Glad you're here. And as many of you will recall, Steve Poe wrote the book. It was our thank you gift for a month, and it is Creatures of Habit. And so many folks have loved this book, and I hope and pray that if you don't have a copy, you will get it, because it's about so many of the habits that are underneath the habits. And that's a pretty exciting thing when you can get to the anger or the lust or whatever it is that's fueling it. And I understand when you did the series, a couple heard you speak and they got in the car and went and got the book. And I just think that that's pretty typical of the response people have to the material. One of the things that Dave Stoop, and by the way, we're having Dave Stoop's memorial service June the 12th at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church at 10 a.m. Milan will be there. I'll be doing the service. It's going to be a great time. But one of the things that Dave was so against in marriage was criticism. He just said there was no place for criticism, and that constructive criticism was just criticism with a smile. Well, one of these habits that you address is complaining. And so just talk about that a little bit, this habit of complaining. It doesn't do any good.
It absolutely doesn't, Steve. I mean, for me, an example was I was at the swimming pool down in Florida. It was a beautiful day, and sun was shining, and some guy sat down beside me, and I was trying to create a conversation with him, and so I said, "Man, it's hot out today." And the guy said, "Well, it's not as bad as..." He said, "I'd rather be in a hot day than in the Midwest where it's cold." And he got up and moved, took his chair and moved. And my first response was, what is his problem?
Yeah.
And then I realized that I was trying to establish a rapport with this guy through complaining. And I think oftentimes we do that. And we think that's the way we connect with people, but it's actually the wrong way to connect with someone.
Well, we were on a bike ride, and I was talking to my counselor this morning about this. And Misty's just concerned that the kids don't get hit by a truck. And so she just was kind of obsessing over that, and I was talking to her about, it kind of ruined the whole bike ride. I was talking to my counselor about that. He said, this is something I've been meaning to talk to you about. And I said, oh, okay. He said, how did you ruin the bike ride? I go, what do you mean? He said, well, I think you ought to think about that. What did you do or not do that ruined the bike ride? Because you are the only person that you have any influence over. And so no matter what somebody else does, you contribute. Well, I mean, who was he to say that? Well, he was my therapist. So, but then I started to think, and he said, if you could just think of how long you can go without using the word you, because usually that's probably not going to go well. Anyway, complaining is one of the creatures of habit. In Creatures of Habit, you can get it at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Our phone number today, 1-800-229-3000. Come join us. Milan Yerkovich, Steve Arterburn, Steve Poe. Steve is the pastor of Northview Church here in Carmel. One of the best things we do are these campuses that we have in prisons. It's a wonderful, wonderful ministry.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., July 23rd to the 25th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad that you're with us. And I want to mention that A Gift of Any Amount, we send you the last book that I wrote with Dave Stoop, and that is The Soul of a Hero. There are 7 different perspectives that every hero, and of course there are a lot of women heroes in the Bible, but we're talking about male heroism in this day and age, being a hero far beyond just having to find someone desperate that's in bad enough shape that you need to rescue them. That's not what this is about. This is about character and doing the right thing when it's very difficult to do that. But it's called The Soul of a Hero. The subtitle is Becoming the Man of Strength and Purpose that you were created to be. And it is a great Father's Day gift. Gift of any amount, we'll send it to you or someone you love. But right now, we are going to go to the phones, 1-800-229-3000 if you'd like to join us on the program. And let's go to Mary calling from Houston, Texas. Hi, Mary. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Doing all right. You don't sound too excited today. Is this a rough day?
It's been a rough season. I've been in a very dark season for a few years now. It started.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Just everything's going wrong. Everything. I hurt my back really bad at work several years ago, and shortly after that, I lost my job because of that. And since then, everything has just been going downhill. As far as my house is in need of major repairs, and I don't have the money to fix it. I have been having a hard time finding gainful employment. It's like every aspect of my life is just, like I said, going downhill. And it seems like I keep praying and praying for God to get me out of this dark season and into a different season of blessings or light, something.
Yeah.
Anyways, the reason I called today is because I have a dear friend that I've known for many, many years, and we live in different states, so we basically text and phone calls. But yesterday, before we both went to church, she prayed with me, and then we went our separate ways. And then, but yesterday evening, she sent me a text, and she said that she prayed and prayed for me at church today. I prayed for God to send you a Christian plumber / possibly husband to lead you to a livable wage job, and for you to want a deeper relationship with him, not just for him to help you and send you blessings. But then she put, there has to be some hidden sin in your life somewhere to be in such darkness for so long. Maybe it's in your heart and you don't even realize it. And
okay,
I don't really know how to take this and how to navigate this in the future.
Okay. Well, Mary,
as well as having a
Mary, we're going to help you with this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can guarantee you that you have some hidden sin, because all of us have stuff going on that we're not totally aware of, attitudes, just different things. I mean, we're imperfect people, and there are folks that believe that you can attain a certain level of faith and you don't sin anymore, which I think it's a sin to even think that, because we're just going to make mistakes. But here's the issue. If everybody got sick or had horrible times based on sin that they're not aware of or that's hidden or something, well, I'd be on my deathbed right now. And so I just don't. Well, Jesus was so specific. Someone said to him, okay, this guy's blind. Who sinned? Did he or his mother, father? He was so specific. Nobody's sin caused this. That isn't the reason for the blindness. Milan, let's start with you, and then we'll hear from you, Steve Poe. What are you thinking when you hear these instances, and we hear it all the time, of somebody saying, you must be having a horrible time because there's some hidden sin in your life?
Mary, I am so sorry and sad for you that you've had this rough season. A dark season like this is, with all these cascading issues going the way they are, it'd be very depressing, and I'm so sorry you're going through that. And, the sad part about it is that the more this carries on, the more depressed you get, and the harder it is to be involved, to do more than just pray, to get out and meet people, it just is a very debilitating place, and I'm sorry to hear that. I just want to tell you that. But your friend sounds like Job's friends. He had this very difficult period of life that God was a part of orchestrating. And when his friends were doing their best is when they were silent, when they weren't saying anything. And then their friends, after a week, decided to start speaking. And then but the same thing, they were saying, surely, Job, there has to be something inside you that has caused this problem, And really, later, God says, who is this who darkens counsel? He was really upset at the friends because they were not suggesting the correct things. And I think, Mary, she could be a very close friend to you and a very loving person, but it doesn't mean we have to take in everything everybody says to us and let it stick. I would say, unless there is a glaring issue you are saying no to, Steve's right. We all go through seasons where we have difficult, hard times, and it's not just because there's a hidden sin. There's difficulty in life. And life is not easy. And but I would say your friends, she's well-meaning, but I would just not pay attention to that. I would just try to get rid of it in your mind and not think about it.
Steve, what are you thinking when you hear this?
Well, Mary, I would say the same thing. I'm so sorry that you're hurting and going through this, and I do know your friend, I'm sure, loves you, but her counsel is not scriptural. The Bible says there's therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. And the only type of hidden sin that we have is that when we're purposely or intentionally hiding it. If you have sin in your life, you know what it is. And if you have that sin, then confess your sin and move on. But if you don't know of any sin that's going on in your life, just know that God has forgiven you, that he loves you, that he has a purpose and a plan for your life, and just refocus on him. Rather than focus on the negativity, just focus on God's amazing love for you, and know that he has a plan.
One more thing, Mary. It would really be easy if it kind of worked like this. If you got into sin and then you got real sick, then you'd know, oh, wow, I've got to change this or I'm going to die. But sadly, whether the sin is confessed or not, a lot of times the consequences aren't there immediately. You don't feel that. I mean, that's what's so devastating about sin. It's so subtle and evil. You don't see it, you don't feel it. So I want you to feel free from the self-condemnation that comes with a statement like this or a thought like this. I'm going to send you two things. I'm going to send you Healing is a Choice, and I'm going to send you Toxic Faith. And in there I talk about this exact toxic belief that you can judge somebody as having secret sin that they're not telling anybody about if they stay sick. It just isn't true. I hate this, and I'm so glad that you called and let us talk to you about this. You are free. You are free indeed. The Lord says that He will not hold our sins against us. He says, I will wipe your slate clean. I will remember your sin no more. As far as east is from west, I will remove your sin. You're not going to be humiliated with God if you're just open and honest about the things that you can be open and honest about. That's the key.
You know, Steve, I would say one more thing to Mary's state and position here, and that is she needs to get some help to help her manage the depression she's in. The very first thing you said, Steve, is you don't sound that great. Used other words to Mary. And so when we are going through a season like this, we can get depressed, and then we can further dive into a place of depression, inactivity, and negative thinking. So I would highly recommend that you get some professional help to help you work through, as well as the possibility of examining what your options are to even perhaps be on an antidepressant for this season.
Yeah. It's really, really sad to hear what you're going through.
Yeah.
And I do pray that this is going to be kind of the bottom of the valley and that you'll start to see things coming together. I'll ask all of our folks to pray for you. We're really grateful that you called. The phone number is 1-800-229-3000. Before I go to the next caller, I just want to mention that the first in-person Every Man's Battle, now that we've gotten through a lot of COVID, still there, but on July the 9th, 10th, and 11th in Dallas, Texas, we will be there, and it'll Every Man's Battle. So come, join us, call us, please do whatever it takes to get there if you need to go from being a person that's struggling with lust and pornography or affairs to becoming a person that is influencing. We just see this all the time with people that go to Every Man's Battle. They start to influence other men. They bring them out of it. They do things that help transform the lives of other people, and that's what we want to see for you. All right, let's go to Drew, calling from Northport, Maine. And Drew, you're on. You listen on the podcast. Glad you do. How are you today?
Hi, Steve. Thanks for taking my call. I'm good.
Thank you.
My question today. My question today is recently out of a divorce and have a 4 and 5-year-old daughter. My ex had an affair and walked out on the marriage. So the question is, what's appropriate to tell a 4 and 5-year-old as to why their parents are divorced? And don't want to alienate their mother, but I want to explain, God's view on divorce to them, so they don't grow up thinking that divorce is normal or an okay thing.
What's she telling them?
She's only told them that we're not married anymore.
Okay.
She hasn't. I don't believe she's explained anything more than that to them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I hope that you don't throw this out on them that we still love each other, because that's a concept that's really hard for a 4 or 5-year-old to understand. They're divorced, but they still love each other. It's you think, oh, that makes it better. No, it really doesn't. It's confusing. Milan, what do you think? Let's start here. What do you think's the best way to go, 4 and 5-year-old?
4 and 5-year-olds, Drew, first of all, I'm sorry you're going through this. This is a very challenging time for you. And I'm very sad that your wife chose to leave the marriage this way instead of trying to reconcile and work things out and grow to a new place. But 4 and 5-year-olds can't think really abstractly. They don't understand abstract things. And your broader philosophical, theological issues of I don't want them having the incorrect view of divorce, this is not the time for that to even come up. I think just to say, Mom is not living here anymore. And with time, by the time they're 18, they need to know the full truth. So it's a gradual, with their questions, and when it's age appropriate, which is much older, when they're starting to become 8, 9, 10 years old, they can begin to understand that Mom didn't love me anymore or want me anymore, and she wanted somebody else, and so she left us. I wouldn't mention the word affair, but that's how I would start.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the 8 books in the Arterburn Wellness series, including Understanding and Loving a Person with Attention Deficit Disorder and Understanding and Loving a Person with Sexual Addiction. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. If you want to join us on radio, 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. Right now we're talking with Drew. Wife had an affair. They're going to divorce, or she's not living there now. Drew, this your 4 and 5-year-old. I mean, do you have custody? What is it, joint custody, or are you the primary parent? What's going on there?
We finished everything in court, and it's been 10 weeks waiting for the final decision, but it will be split. She's out of state now, so one parent will get them for the school year, and the other parent will get them for all school vacations.
And how do you think that's going to go?
I have the guardian ad litem's recommendation that they primary reside with me and go to school in Maine, so hoping that
good
carries me through.
Yeah, I think that's really great. And, this same situation happened with me, and I just found some great older women to come along and be in Madeline's life, and it just really seemed to help a great deal. Steve Poe, you have some thoughts here for Drew in a very tough situation.
Drew, I'm also sorry you're going through this. You know, at 4 and 5 years old, a child's security is found in mom and dad. Mm-hmm. And whenever you go through any type of separation or divorce, it shakes their world because that's their foundation. So I think more than anything is just to continually reassure your kids how much you love them and how much their mother loves them. And I think more affection than less right now is really, really vital and important, so that they feel secure, because they're gonna be overwhelmed with a sense of fear and worry in this stage of their life. So just constantly encouraging them how much you love them and their mother loves them.
And it's unhealthy for us to distract ourselves from dealing with the real issues. We know about that. But it is not unhealthy in my mind to provide some great experiences this summer, great memories that are literally some distractions from the insecurity and the pain that they're going through. And sometimes when we're going through something like this, we shut down, but do whatever you can to give them the best summer ever, so that they've got something to counterbalance the really tough times. Milan, final word here?
Well, yes. That puts another light on this, Drew, when you said she's out of state. And what that means is your wife has abandoned those kids.
Yeah.
See, your wife has said, my affair is more important than my children, and because I'm going to move away from them. 4 and 5-year-olds are very dependent upon mom, their children, and we're talking about kindergartners here, and preschool and kindergartners. So one of the things you're going to want to be able to do is literally talk to them about missing their mom. They're going to cry. They're going to miss her. They're not going to know why she's gone. But she's made a choice here, and it's a grievous choice for their development. It's an abandonment that will stick with them for a lifetime, unfortunately, until they begin to wrestle with it. So I would comfort them. I would do a lot of holding times, let them cry, let them talk about mom, ask them, start the conversation. I know you miss mom. Do you want me to hold you? And to comfort them and to grieve with them, because it's a big loss.
Yeah. I think, Drew, the big challenge is not to go beyond their level of understanding, but also not confuse them with mixed messages. It just is important that you not distort the truth. She isn't there. She is out of state. Yes, she has left us here, and we're going to see her. She's not out of our lives, but that's where you hold on tight. But you have to give them the reality that's there versus try to make it feel better. It's a horrible situation, and you want to be their stump. You want to be that thing that's driven into the ground. They can count on you. You can't be knocked over. They can hold on, put their arms around you. You want to be their post, and that's the best way to handle it. Let me send you, I want to send you both How We Love and the book How We Love Our Kids. And I think the combination of those are going to help you, and I'm really glad the ad litem was involved, because if not, many times the court rules for both split evenly and all that, and even though one of them has moved out of state, not a good situation at all. All right, let's go to Lisa from Detroit, Michigan. Lisa, you're on with Steve Poe and Milan Yerkovich.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity to ask you this question. I would like to know, what does it mean when a man says that he's given a second chance to be back together, for the relationship to continue again, and then he said he would like to start by seeing each other and talking, and so he came over on May the 3rd, and then we communicated by text 2 times after that. Oh, we had a nice interaction and everything. He seen that the sparks was still there and everything, was good and nice and everything between each other. And then after 2 texts after that, now he's not communicating anymore.
Well, that's got to be painful, huh?
Well, I just don't know exactly what it means. He mentioned before that happened about 2 medical things that came up. He had open heart surgery in 2019, and there was a knot where the scar was at. and he went to the hospital to see what that was about, and they couldn't determine. But in addition, they found that one of his...
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, a physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, June 25th through the 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. We're talking with Lisa. Milan Yerkovich is here. Steve Poe is here, and he is the author of Creatures of Habit. And some of those are not such great habits. And if you'd like some insight into many of the things that are underlying a lot of things we do that are destructive, it's a wonderful, wonderful book. 1-800-NEW-LIFE to get that. Lisa, you mentioned a health problem. You haven't communicated with him. I mean, do you know for sure he's still alive or that he's not in the hospital or something like that?
Well, yes, I've been sending him texts. He's just not responding back. But this pastor that I was associated with, he told me that I would just have to call the job to find out for sure. So I did. And I talked to his boss, and he had just left from, in his work day. So, yes, he's still alive.
Okay.
I don't know why I don't understand why he's not communicating with me. I don't know what that's about.
Well, maybe.
What I want to know.
Yeah. What did you want to know?
When a man does that, what does that mean?
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
It could mean a lot of different things. One thing it could mean is that when he got back with you, he was just kind of experimenting to see if being with you fixed all his problems and made him feel like $1 million again. What was the second chance over? What was the problem that needed a second chance?
Oh, well, our relationship began last year, and after 5 months, he broke us up. I didn't want to be broke up, and he didn't give me the conversation that I wanted, but we had that conversation when he was over here, and so I never wanted to be broke up, and I told him that, and so that was his doing. So but in our texting back and forth, he said that he believed in second chances, and that's what I thought that. He said. I said, well, how do you want to go about this? And he said he wanted to start seeing each other, spending time together and talking. And
okay, but he didn't follow through. He didn't follow through with that, and he'd already shown you he wasn't very reliable to begin with. So, Steve Poe, if this was your daughter, what would if she was single and she was saying, here's somebody I'm interested in, what would your counsel be to her?
Well, obviously, because when he says he wants to give a second chance, it sounds like he's saying to you that he wants to give you a second chance. So I don't think that he is committed to this relationship. And now that he's gone silent, I think he's really saying it very loudly. And so if you were my daughter, I would tell you that you just need to break off this relationship and need to move on. God has someone else for you, and this guy has.
I'm in love with him. I'm still in love with him, but last year I could be broken emotionally, but this year not so much, because I've been on those warm lines, and one in particular, and the emotional support responders have helped me to the extent where I've grown from that, so I can't be emotionally broken over the situation or him anymore. So I'm a much stronger woman than I was last year.
Yeah, well, that is good that you are stronger, but love is this feeling, this romantic feeling, when it's towards someone that isn't very considerate of us or caring about us. It's a romantic feeling, and although it's hard for that to go away, we can decide to either feed that romantic feeling or do some things that allow it to die a natural death, so that we're not trapped into a relationship with somebody that's unhealthy just because we have this feeling. Milan, your thoughts here.
Lisa, I'm sorry that you're in love with this guy. I'm happy that you're in love, because in love feels good, but I'm sorry that you're in love with a guy who is flaky, or who is not secure, or who is not a stable force in your life. If I told you I was going to give you a free round-trip ticket to Paris first class, but I said, but the plane only has a 50% chance of getting there. It might crash. I mean, would you get on the plane? And most people wouldn't. If there was a 50-50 chance, it might not make it. And this is that kind of a guy. It can feel like you're sitting in first class seats, when he's talking to you and really nice and all that stuff. But he's showing you something by his inattentiveness, by him not responding, by not answering your text. And even though you love him, I guarantee you, if you ever got together with this guy and you got married, this would continue on like this. He wouldn't be closer to you because he just said, I do, or married you. He's showing you what his true self is like. And that's a blessing, because as Steve said, even though you love him, you can also say he's not healthy, and I'm not going to become connected to someone that's not healthy. I'm not going to get married to a guy that's not healthy. And I'm sorry to hear it, but it's.
I would like to ask a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that it has anything to do with the medical situation? Do you think it's because I don't know how I would deal with some devastating medical news. So do you think that might have something to do with
you'd have to ask him, Lisa. It's a great question, because sometimes when people have open heart surgery, it causes them to have depression and anxiety and things like that. You should ask him, what do your medical issues do to you emotionally? And so that's a good question to ask him. But you have to ask him.
Well, he's not giving me the opportunity to ask him anything else.
Well, that's the problem then, isn't it?
Yeah. And here's the thing. We've all been in these situations where we've loved someone or something that was bad for us, whether it's food or alcohol, drugs, or some of these habits that Steve Poe writes about. And here's the bottom line. Your feelings have a point, but they're not the point. You cannot let your feelings be the driving force in your life. one of the reasons we get in trouble with God is we have philology rather than theology. We just believe whatever feels good is okay. And so I'm going to send you this book, Is This the One? It's got some great material in there that's going to show you what you can do other than be trapped into a relationship that's not mutual. And mutuality is a great thing for any relationship to have, and when it doesn't, it's not very great at all. Speaking of not very great at all, Larry, a lot of folks' lives are not very great, and then they come to Every Man's Battle, and they get that way. Let's talk about that.
Okay, thank you. Well, Every Man's Battle is coming up this Saturday. It's a one-day workshop online. And guys, we've taken down all the hurdles. You could be living in Alaska, Maine, Florida, California, wherever you are. You can do this online. It's very easy. And so I want to read you a testimony from somebody who recently attended and let you think about this.
Okay.
He says, I enjoyed tracking back to childhood and understanding our hurts and pain, which follows us into adulthood. It will be a journey, moment by moment, day by day, to restore my relationships with my wife. The statement God says to us men, just take care of my little girl, is very huge. I need to understand the little girl. If I see the little girl, I will, or it changes how I understand my wife and how I can be better understanding of her and love her. I need to cherish her. Building blocks one at a time. Respect and honor, build trust again. So this guy had a total change of mind, total change of heart. He saw life differently. He saw his wife differently. And it got into him that's what the Holy Spirit does. When you get into this workshop, you listen to the speaker, you go into a group, you meet with other guys, you share and process what was said. The Holy Spirit shows up and makes a difference in life. So I just want to encourage you guys. Give us a call at 800-NEW-LIFE and to ask about this workshop. The second thing, if I could, Steve, real quickly, with regards to fundraising, we just came off a big campaign. Now we need folks to come and sign up for our Club New Life. We need folks to come and sign up to be a monthly partner. When you give, it changes you. When you belong to something bigger than yourself that's making a difference in life, it's very rewarding to you. So please help us. Join Club New Life. Give us a call about that today.
We'll send you the Arterburn Wellness Series, 8 books, Understanding and Loving a Person with Narcissism, Attention Deficit, Bipolar, all sorts of great things there that someone in your family might be struggling with. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, that is the number to call. Also, you can get a copy of Creatures of Habit. We'll be back for final segment right after this. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop. I don't know of anybody that wouldn't benefit from emotional freedom. We're all bound or stuck or struggling in some area. What are we going to do there, Chris?
Just really help people get clarity around the places where they're stuck in their life. They sort of circle the same mountain of disappointment over and over and over again. You're going to be able to see that mountain clearly and get to a new place of what we call emotional freedom, which is simply, I can feel in the world, build a relationship to it, and know what to do with my experiences.
The New Life Emotional Freedom Workshop is Saturday, August 14th. Steve Arterburn and Chris Williams will present information on trauma, depression, codependency, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or register online at newlife.com.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the 8 books in the Arterburn Wellness Series, including Understanding and Loving a Person with Depression and Understanding and Loving a Person with Alcohol and Drug Addiction. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with Steve Poe. He is the author, Creatures of Habit, pastor of Northview Church here in Carmel. Milan Yerkovich, the author of How We Love, and your phone calls. And let me just mention one thing before we go back to the phones. We have the Restore Workshop is going to be in Dallas on June 25th. And that early bird special that really does save some, it's over June the 11th. Also, we're doing Intimacy and Marriage in Washington, D.C., July 23rd through the 25th. You can find out about those at newlife.com or 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And 1-800-NEW-LIFE is also where you can order this book. We spent a whole month talking about this book, and always glad to have Steve back. But it's a great, great book for transformation from the inside out. Creatures of Habit is the name. Now let's go to Grace, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Grace is our final caller. Wish I could have gotten to everybody else, but I can't. Grace, what's going on in your life today? And thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much. I need some help navigating relationships with my adult children. They're 34, 38, and 40. They've been through a lot. We've all been through a lot. Their father was involved with their lives growing up, but they were 2, 6, and 8 when he left for a gay relationship, and has been with that person all this while. They got married several years ago, but the trauma and devastation is just too much to bear, and I kind of don't know where to turn. I'd like Christian counseling, but I can't seem to find it that takes my Medicare insurance. I just turned 65 in December, but my oldest, my 40-year-old, was born as a girl and transgendered about 13 years ago, and we kind of have a relationship it's just a lot to go into because she finished college, went to San Francisco to intern at an organization called Collage, and so because of her, and she's first said she was lesbian, then said no, I'm a guy and transgendered, and is with this person that's 17 years older than her.
Well, Grace,
she had a baby.
Grace, you've had a really tough situation. Ask us a question that we could help you with, because he left a long time ago. It feels like you're still in as much pain now as then, which I want to help you with. But what is the question you have for us?
I want a relationship with my kids, but it feels like, we do have somewhat of a relationship, but...
Ask me a question, though, that I could help you with. What would you... Well, let me try to give you some... Let us give you some help here. And this would just be what I would say to anybody who is this much in turmoil over a situation that really began, almost 30 years ago, is we've
Yeah,
got to
but
get
see,
you
the
some
thing
help.
Of it is, I just found out like a year ago that I thought the kids were 2, 6, and 8. Here he had been doing this 2 years, like my
Yeah. Okay, but
youngest
it was a
only
very,
2
very
weeks old.
Yeah, it was
I
a
feel
very
like I
long
have
time
anger.
ago.
How do I get rid of the anger?
Right.
How do I
Okay.
get rid of the
Okay.
anger and pain
Great
so that I can, so they want to be with me?
Yeah, okay, hold on, because I'm sure that has to, the fact that you're still in the midst of the trauma and turmoil, that surely must impact what it's like to be with you when they are with you. Milan, you want to get us started here because, man, this is a lot of pain for someone to bear for that long.
So, Grace, we're almost at the end of our show, and so we're going to have to kind of go fast here. But number one, you need to be in a grief recovery group, a place where you face losses and where you can be with people that have also suffered losses of various kinds. This life that we live on this planet prior to heaven is a difficult place to live, and we suffer many losses here. And you need to be with people that can identify, care, empathize, love you and support you and let you know you're not alone. There are a lot of nasty situations out there, and yours is one of them. Number two, when your needs are better taken care of and you feel loved and embraced and cared for, and it doesn't take money to be in a grief support group. There are many types of groups out there. I would start there, and then I would just endeavor to, when you have more energy, build an individual relationship with each child and allow it to go where it's going to go. I use the word child, but I simply mean your adult kids, and let it go where it's going to go. Call your daughter in San Francisco and every week and just ask her how she's doing, and or he, and just keep the relationships going, and then find support in somebody to love and care for you. That is a small group, other women at the church, some way, somehow. Steve?
Poe, what are you thinking?
Well, the only thing I would say is I'd really encourage you to talk to somebody about your anger issues. Somebody that specializes in anger issues that can help you to deal with those, because it's obviously interfering with the relationship with your kids, and so you need somebody to be able to help you work through it, so that you can move forward in your life, because it sounds as if it has you stuck.
Well, it really is a process of grieving, and when we grieve, we express both sadness and anger,
That's
rage,
part of the grief. Yes, it is.
Yeah, disappointment. All of that gets expressed to someone who can help us understand it, and then we reach this place where we accept our reality without the anger. We can embrace it, and then we're kind of free from having to experience that piercing pain that impacts all parts of us. I'm going to send you a grief workbook and the Life Recovery Bible and the grief workbook that goes with it, and I'll send you Healing as a Choice. But I'm so glad that you called. And anybody else, we have so many great resources if you're struggling in that way. And I want to mention before we go, if anybody has struggled with your pride or anger, making excuses, lust, criticism, cynicism, complaining, worry, workaholism, lying, idolatry, guilt, prayerlessness, any of these things, this is a book that'll help you. It's called Creatures of Habit. Always glad to have Steve Poe here. He is the pastor at Northview Church. I'm going to be preaching there on the weekend of June 27th, 28th. I hope you'll join me. In the meantime, if you have anything that you think we might be able to help you with, you call us. In Dallas, we've got a call center. They woke up this morning wanting to help somebody begin the process of transformation. It's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Thank you, Milan Yerkovich. Thank you, Steve Poe. Thanks to all of you who listen, watch, pray, and support us. We are grateful. Hope you'll have a great day and a great week. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW